Bros, what's up? Thanks for joining me on another tutorial here. We're going to be learning about how to set up Docker on your AWS EC2 instance. And in particular, we're going to be setting up the mean stack. So let's get started. So open up your AWS EC2 console and go ahead and click on Launch Instance. And scroll down to Ubuntu 16.04 and hit Select. Choose whatever size you want. I'm just going to be going with the free tier today. Hit Review and Launch. Right now we could set up our security group, but we'll be doing that a little bit later in the tutorial. And go ahead and hit Launch. I'm not going to do it because I already have it set up. Alright, so it'll take you back to this page and an instance state. You're going to see your instance, it'll have an initialization state. Just wait for that to boot up and say running. Once it says running, click on the checkbox and go to the description tab. And now we're going to be setting up our security groups. And basically what that means is that we're going to make it so that this EC2 instance is open up to the web. And so by default it's always open up to SSH, which is port 22. We're going to make it so that port 80 is accessible. So in security groups, click on Launch Wizard -1. It could be something different for you possibly. Hit the inbound tab. It's already selected for me. And go ahead and click the edit button. Do add rule and then scroll down on this list and hit HTTP. It should pull in the 80 port and this other custom source stuff over there. And then hit save. Alright, so now we set up our security groups, we set up our instance. So let's SSH into our instance now. So we have a sample SSH command here that I'm going to be using to connect to my instance. So SSH, and the user is going to be Ubuntu and the @ symbol. And then this right here is the public DNS address that can be found right here on your console. Hit the description tab and then just copy and paste that. And then make sure you put in your PEM file. Alright, so hit enter. And now we're in the console, or now we're in the EC2 instance. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to install Docker, and we're going to install Docker Compose, and then we are going to change the security settings to make it so that we don't have to run sudo every time we want to run Docker. So let's start that. So it's going to be sudo apt update, and this is just a general update to make sure everything's fine and dandy before we start installing Docker. So you hit enter, not delete, and then you're going to do sudo apt install docker.io. That'll install Docker for you. And then now we're going to be doing Docker Compose. Hit enter, install that. And then now we're going to be doing some security related things. So it's going to be sudo usermod -a-g docker ubuntu. Hit enter. Alright. So now the last thing is, this really depends on whether or not you compile your dist folder on your local computer. You want to compile it in EC2. I've chosen to compile it on my local computer, upload it to my Git repository, and basically do it that way. But you could also compile your dist folder on your EC2 instance. So if you decided to do it on the EC2 instance, you'd have to install ng, the Angular builder. So assuming we have it installed, it'll be ng build -- prod for production, or -- dev for development, and that'll generate your dist folder for you. But like I said, for this tutorial we've already put that dist folder in the repository. So the last thing that we want to do is we want to pull in our Git repository, and this Git repository has to be an actual Dockerized repository. It's going to require a Docker Compose file, and it has to be ready to fire up with Docker. So it's going to be git clone, and then just put in your URL to your Dockerized application. I have it already hosted up here on Coderbro Codes repository. This is the same exact repository that's used in the Docker Compose tutorial, with some slight modifications to the Docker Compose.yaml file. So go ahead and just clone this or recreate it on your own computer. And then also something else, this tutorial is going to be in textual format in codebro.com. So if you have any questions, I would definitely advise you to navigate to that website. Alright, so we've pulled the Git repository, we've downloaded Docker, Docker Compose, we've set the security groups, we've opened port 80. All that's left to do is get Docker Compose fired up. So I already have Docker running right now. I already have the whole application running. So you wouldn't, if you typed in docker ps-a, you wouldn't see this. So to get Docker started, you're going to do Docker Compose up-d, and -d is for daemon, and it won't print out the running logs. So once you do that, then when you do docker ps-a, you should be able to see your running containers. Alright, so everything should be working at this point. So go over to your AWS console and go to the description tab for the instance that you currently have running, and copy your IPv4 public IP address and paste it in your browser. And assuming that everything's working, bam, you should see that. So please subscribe. Make sure you go to my website. Make sure you get this tutorial working. I'll see you guys next time.